In today's climate, you always need to be ready. Nothing will make you a more accurate or confident shooter than Crimson Trace laser sighting systems. Get the immediate, decisive advantage of the world's only grip-integrated laser sights. Shoot better. Stay safer. Call 800-442-2406 or visit crimsontrace.com for a free copy of our new laser training video, The Laser's Edge.
Broadcasting on more than 140 great radio stations across the greatest country on the planet. Welcome to the #1 national voice in defense of your Second Amendment rights. Tom Gresham's Gun Talk is on the air. Today on Gun Talk, the Department of Justice has proposed amending current ATF regulations that concern the transferring of firearms and silencers under the National Firearms Act. Tom talks with a gun trust lawyer and with the owner of the silencer shop to get their take on what is known about ATF 41P. Also, a court victory in Nebraska and a new product for cleaning firearms. All this and more coming up today on Tom Gresham's Gun Talk. Call us now at 1-866-825-5486. That's 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. Or reach out to us via email at tom@guntalk.com. Now, here's Tom Gresham.
All right, back with you. I tell you what, we're having some fun. I'm glad to be back here. Spent a whole week off not doing this show, and it's just kind of like, man, I miss it. Got to do this thing. We got to talk about guns some more. If you just arrived on the scene, let me tell you, I'm Tom Gresham. I'm the host because nobody else would do this. Probably nobody else can do this. People say, how long do you prepare for each show? I say, about 55, 60 years, something along those lines, from the time I was born. Yeah, that's what it takes. Just grow up reading this, doing it. Talking about guns, handling guns, reloading ammunition for my dad before I knew that that was actually probably illegal child labor. But I learned a lot doing it. Gun Talk is, that's where we all get together. We kind of sit around, if you will, the electronic hot stove and swap stories and ask questions and just share information. You can do that, of course, several different ways. All you have to do is call us, 866-TALK-GUN. We'll get you in. An email, tom@guntalk.com. Over on Twitter, we'll have that running. I am at Gun Talk on Twitter. By the way, if you have trouble finding Gun Talk, listening to it, or want to pick up a show that you missed, be sure to get the Gun Talk app for your smartphone, your Android, your iPhone. We have a Gun Talk app, and you can go online a lot of different ways. In fact, probably the easiest way to find archive shows is just to go to our website, guntalk.com, and then put /listen. It'll give you all the places you can listen streaming, pull down archive show, older shows, lots of things going on. And also give you a list of all of our great stations that carry Gun Talk, which leads me to remind you, be sure to say thanks when you get a chance. Call the station you're listening to and say, hey, really appreciate you guys running Gun Talk. It's a good thing to say thanks. A lot of things coming up. We've got a ton of stories. We have, of course, you may have caught it. Interpol is the largest international police organization in the world. And the head of Interpol was interviewed by ABC News. And he said, we've got these soft targets like this big mall in Kenya and various places. And really probably the only way that we're going to be able to protect those is to have extraordinary police presence where you essentially have to get checked in, patted down, go through metal detectors before you go into a mall. Or, wait for it, or we can make sure that all the citizens have guns. Yes, the head of Interpol, International Police Organization, says one way to protect, one of the two ways that he could see, there are only two ways, to protect these soft targets is to make sure that enough people have guns where they can stop it. He says, can you imagine, honestly, this thing going on for days and days and days in the mall in Colorado, in Nebraska, in Louisiana, in Texas, or really almost any other state where we have concealed carry? Somebody's going to have a gun. I may not be able to stop it, but I'll tell you what, when they meet resistance, things change. We have seen it so many times in malls and churches and schools when the mass shooter comes in and wants to kill a bunch of people and meets one armed person. They go, uh-oh, that wasn't what I planned on. And we see this disturbed young people, 114, 112, killing teachers, one with a gun and one with a box cutter. once again, we return to who's going to protect us. Well, I'm sure you know, I hope you know, I hope you are aware, and I hope you tell people about it. The government has no obligation to protect you. The police have absolutely no legal obligation to protect you. You are the only person who has an obligation to protect you. So, therefore, my position is don't let anybody tell you that you can't. Act accordingly, okay? Now, I was just up in North Carolina. I was up in the mountains of North Carolina and Tennessee. The leaves are starting to turn. Everybody's talking about hunting. Everybody's getting geared up for that. So we thought we'd talk a little bit about hunting and basically how you can make your rifle better. And this applies across the board, whether it's just for shooting or for hunting. So I'm going to be joined right now by a good friend of mine, a guy who really likes to hunt, Chris Ellis. Hey, Chris, how you doing, man?
Good morning, Tom. How are you?
Well, I am excellent. Now, you are up in the serious backwoods, I gather. You're a West Virginia fella.
I am, and it's harvest time back here. I tell you, it's we got a little chill in the air. It's definitely fall, and that means hunting.
Oh, absolutely. Now, the thing we wanted to talk about, I want to get you in here because you do some work with the folks over at Timney Triggers. Great company, good, wonderful people. I've been out to the plant and all. But you know me. We've had this conversation before. And I'll just freely admit it. Look, I'm a trigger snob. I just think a gun with a lousy trigger is a lousy gun. I mean, it's just simple as that. And I struggle, and this is where I need your help. I struggle to find a way to explain to people how important a good trigger is and what's in it for them, what it does for them, whether you're a long-range shooter or you're somebody who says, yeah, but, my shots are fairly close and sometimes they're at moving deer or whatever. How do you explain to somebody the benefit, the old what's in it for me? How do you explain that with a good trigger?
Yeah, exactly. It's tough. It's a feel thing, but those who participate in the sport of deer hunting, for example, we're always looking for the edge. We're always looking to become more accurate with our equipment, kind of like a golfer trying to shave off a few strokes and bought a new putter or bought a new pitching wedge or whatever. Mm-hmm. What we're trying to do is become more accurate with our equipment. So if you start with a solid platform and you practice, it becomes almost a mental thing compared to a physical thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I'm thinking about, and I have a lot of good rifles. I mean, I've grown up, and some of the rifles had adjustable triggers, and you could do some things to those. But some of them, honestly, even though they said they were adjustable, there wasn't much you could do to them. And so I finally got to where I started replacing triggers, and this goes back 25 years or so. And it was like, honest to Pete, and I know it sounds, like hyperbole, it's blowing smoke or whatever. It's like getting a new rifle when you put a good trigger in it. And it was that old deal of you don't know what you don't know, and you don't know how good it can be. And when you said it was a mental thing, it made me think, and what I do is I like to dry fire. I take my rifle and I practice. I work the bolt and I practice. I'm shooting, I'm practicing, click, in the house, click, 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 hundreds of times, thousands of times. And honestly, I have had a shot at a moving deer. I don't generally like to take shots at moving deer, but this one was a 30-inch mule deer. I mean, give me a break. I mean, there he is, and he's trotting. It wasn't running, but he was trotting. I honestly, Chris, don't remember pulling the trigger.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. People nowadays in this modern world, they love to talk about features, but I love to hear the benefit story. And the benefit of a good trigger is simple. It makes you more accurate. It makes you more comfortable with your rifle. And I love to hear the story of, hey, Chris, I was practicing. Maybe I got a new sling, or I was practicing hunting scenarios. And when that deer walked out at 30 yards offhand, and there was no rest around, but I'd practiced that shot, I threw the rifle up, and my brain said, take him, and the next thing I know, I've got my hand on antlers. That's the cool benefits of practicing with a good, solid platform, becoming more accurate with your rifle, and that's what a good trigger like Timney can help you do.
All right, here's where shooters and hunters kind of will differentiate, and I guess it's just a matter of personal opinion. My dad liked good triggers too, but he didn't like the same triggers I did. For his hunting rifles, he liked them down at about a 2.5-pound trigger pull. And to me, that was too light. I liked about a 3.5 pound trigger pull. And I know people are thinking, well, it's only a pound. How can you tell the difference? You really can, can't you?
Absolutely. I'm like you. I like all my hunting rifles set at exactly 3.5 pounds. For me, in a hunting situation, when my heart's racing and I'm climbing that mountain, I know exactly when that trigger's going to go off. My brain tells me to do it. Bam, we're good to go. Now, other people, it's a feel thing. John Veer, our good friend, he loves 2.5 pound triggers. We argue about this, obviously, in jest, but we argue about this. He likes 2.5, I like 3.5. Yep. But that's a neat thing about being able to adjust your trigger so it feels exactly the way you want it. So when your brain says, take that shot, boom, it's instant.
I want to go back to that point you just made. And it's very weird and it's hard to explain. If I could take people and hand them the rifle and they would, if I could get them to do a dozen dry fire shots, they'd get it. But you said something interesting. When your brain says to take the shot, the gun goes off. It really is almost like your brain is connected to the firing mechanism and you don't ever feel the trigger being pulled. And I don't know a better way to explain it, but it's a weird and wonderful thing.
It's absolutely wonderful. No surprise, no creep. It's muscle memory. It's practice over and over and over, and it's confidence. When you install a good trigger like Timney, you're building confidence with yourself and your rifle. So when that shot presents itself, it's muscle memory. It's just natural. It comes easy. There's no mechanical problems in your way. We take the barriers out. Now it's just hunter, rifle combination, make the good shot, and practice.
You said something interesting right there. You said, no surprise. Remember the old saying people always said, I want to be surprised when the gun goes off. I don't like that concept.
I don't either. I want it to be absolutely a mental decision. Let's take this animal. I want to know exactly when my gun's going off. I want it to go off the same way it went off when I was dry firing it, the same way it went off when I was practicing at the range, the same way it went off when I took that class. I want it to be the exact same thing. And when you do that, you start to eliminate the variables. Now you have a nice rifle, a great platform, a great trigger. Now you build the confidence up, and you're ready to go. It gives us the edge. The sport of hunting or shooting, we're all looking for that edge, and having that gift of accuracy is a great way to start.
There's something else it gives us that we hadn't talked about. And again, it's going to sound like some kind of voodoo Zen thingy going on. But when you have that rifle that you know is accurate, and you have the combination of a good trigger and you practice with it so that you know that you're accurate, you walk into the woods with a confidence that other people may not have or you may not have had before. And this is where the payoff is. And I've said this to people, and I don't say it very often because it really does sound like bragging, and I don't like to brag. But when I have the right rifle in my hand and it has the good trigger, I walk in knowing just absolutely, if I see it and it's in what I would call reasonable range, and for a regular flat shooting rifle, I'm calling that 350 and under. Okay, just pick a number. There is absolutely no doubt in my mind that I'm going to shoot it and hit it. I mean, exactly. Zero doubt in my mind. It's the confidence you get, and what that does, Chris, and this is what I want you to talk about, because you're a hunter. I mean, you've done this a lot. If you have confidence, it allows you to take the shot and not hesitate. You could just get on it and do it.
Exactly. It's like being on the sideline. Put me in, coach, put me in. When you practice and you know you and your rifle are at the optimum accuracy, you want to be in that situation. And as hunters, it's all about the shot, right? We want to be there. We work so hard. We anticipate the hunt. We plan the hunt. We work out for the hunt. We get in shape. We get on planes and travel to far-off distances for the chance at that shot. So when that moment comes, I want to know that I and my rifle are exactly the way they've been through all the training, all the practice. And when I throw it up, like you said, maybe a good trigger lets you extend your distances a little bit. Depends on how good of a shot you are and how much you practice. It may be 100 yards, maybe 200 yards, who knows, maybe 300 yards. But when that animal walks within that range, you relish that opportunity. You're ready.
Well, here's another way to look at it. It helps you to not screw it up.
Exactly.
Is there a worse feeling than taking a shot and not being sure, or maybe possibly crippling an animal, which is like the worst thing in the world. So I know we could go on about this forever. I guess what I'd like to point out to people is that I am such a trigger believer that I think that anybody's got what he or she thinks is a good rifle can make it better by putting in an aftermarket trigger like a Timney.
Exactly. And that's the whole thing. Whether it's a rifle that's been in your family for a long time, maybe it's a rifle that you've shot a lot of animals with, but you just look and you're not exactly there yet. You just need that little something, a little confidence booster, or maybe you're building a brand new rifle. Starting with the Timney trigger is a great way to start a great relationship with a fine shooting rifle and allowing yourself to be as accurate as you possibly can as a shooter.
That'll do it. Chris, appreciate it. The Timney triggers, by the way, Timney triggers.com, and they've got triggers pretty much any rifle you have, almost guaranteed. Chris, good luck with your hunting this year, man.
I'll send you pictures, Tom. I appreciate it.
All righty, take care. 866-TALK-GUNS, 866-TALK-GUNS. You ever put in an aftermarket trigger? What was the result? How did it change things for you?
Get a grip on your AR rifle, an Ergo grip. For maximum control, comfort, and accuracy, you need the grip that's ergonomically designed for the human hand. Ergo grips come on some of the best factory ARs. Now you can upgrade your own rifle with a great grip. At ergogrips.net, you'll also find accessories for your rifles and handguns. Shoot better, get comfortable. ergogrips.net. ERGO-grips.net.
The Ruger LC380 is the perfect pairing of the award-winning LC9 pistol and the popular .380 auto cartridge. The LC380 is the same size as the LC9, yet offers reduced recoil, making it Ruger's lightest recoiling personal protection pistol yet. It features a dovetailed high-visibility 3-dot sight system, 7-round magazine and finger grip extension floor plate, manual safety, and loaded chamber indicator. The Ruger LC380. Another rugged, reliable firearm from Ruger.
One machine, one operator. Each machine is run by a single pair of hands. Hands that spend all day, every day, learning the machine inside and out. We don't believe in quotas. The point is crafting faultless ammunition, no matter how long that takes. It's not quick or easy. Being the best never is. Black Hills Ammunition. It started with our hands.
An exciting breakthrough from Mossberg lets you customize your 500 pump-action shotgun in seconds. Get a better fit. Add features. Mossberg's Flex System lets you swap out stocks, foreends, and recoil pads. Want a pistol grip? Got it. Longer or shorter stock? No problem. Go from hunting to tactical and home defense in seconds. From black to camo and back. Now available on the MVP bolt-action rifle. For details, visit FlexYourMossberg.com.
Hi, I'm Tom Gresham. For more than 40 years, I've been watching an environmental disaster in my backyard, and it actually impacts all sportsmen in America. I'm talking about the massive loss of land on the Louisiana coastline. The U.S. Geological Survey said the swamps and marshes of coastal Louisiana are among the nation's most fragile and valuable wetlands. That land is disappearing. The Mississippi River Delta hosts as many as 10 million ducks and geese every winter. These are birds which migrate northward through the states, all the way to Canada. The wetlands of the Delta support some of America's best fresh and saltwater fishing. And here's the deal. The wetlands of the Mississippi River Delta are disappearing at a rate of 1 football field every hour. 1 football field every hour. Gone. We can reconnect the river with its wetlands and restore the Delta, but we need your help. Please visit vanishingparadise.org. That's vanishingparadise.org.
A great trigger can make you a better shooter. For over 60 years, Timney triggers have been trusted by hunters and shooters everywhere. Timney triggers are proudly made in the USA and come with a lifetime warranty. Installation is easy. Give yourself the Timney Trigger advantage. To see more and order online, go to timneytriggers.com. That's Timney triggers.com.
You're listening to Tom Gresham's Gun Talk, the original nationally syndicated radio talk show about firearms, shooting, and your Second Amendment rights.
Putting more guns in people's hands actually does them a service.
Give Tom a call at 1-866-825-5486. That's 1-TOM-TALK-GUNS. Or email tom@guntalk.com.
They're there to protect us.
Now, back to Gun Talk. Here's Tom Gresham.
So, do you own too many guns? Do you own too much ammunition? Well, a new alert, suspicious activity reporting bulletin, issued by the Department of Homeland Security and the FBI. It says that you could be targeted for surveillance or investigation because of possession of, quote, large amounts of weapons, ammunition, explosives, accelerants, or explosive precursor chemicals. Those could indicate pre-operational terrorist attack planning or criminal activity. Owning a large amounts of weapons, should be large numbers of weapons, or large amounts of ammunition. Wonder what they consider a large amount. I know people who think if you have 500 rounds of ammo, you have a large amount. Of course, I know a lot of you have, shall we say, a little bit more than that. I mean, that's not even a good morning's shoot for a lot of us, 500 rounds. It's an arsenal. I've been known to go through several thousand rounds in a day. Not a problem, piece of cake. Oh, man. We're talking about the triggers. I just cannot tell you how important it is to have a good trigger. It's kind of like for a shotgun, if you have a shotgun for wing shooting, not defensive use, having it fitted to you. Not very many people do it, but it's huge. The benefits you get out of it, how much better you're going to be at shooting. Just getting your shotgun fitted and having a good trigger put into your rifle makes a monstrous difference. We'll talk a little bit about that when we come back. Also, we'll have some tips for you on gun cleaning. Yes, it is important. You are supposed to clean your guns now and then. That may be a foreign concept to some people. In the past, it actually was to me. But it really is important to clean your guns, and we'll give you information on that in just a sec.
Have you taken your family, friends, and kids shooting lately? You're listening to Tom Gresham's Gun Talk, and we'll be right back. Want to be a guest on the show? Drop us a line at info@guntalk.com. You're listening to Gun Talk with Tom Gresham.
All right, back with you, 866-TALK-GUNS, or you can shoot me an email, tom@guntalk.com. Here's a win out of Nebraska on a concealed carry case. Coming out of Lincoln, Nebraska, the United States District Court for the District of Nebraska handed down a victory to the Nebraska Firearms Owners Association in dealing with a concealed carry permit discrimination case. The Nebraska Firearms Owners Association and the Second Amendment Foundation, they had filed a lawsuit in federal district court, challenging the state's prohibition on issuing concealed carry handgun permits to legal non-citizens. That is, you're in the country legally, and they said, yeah, but you're not a citizen, so you can't have a carry permit. So the plaintiff was Carlos Nino de Rivera Lahuas. I'm sure I have butchered that horribly. He's a Mexican citizen who illegally lives in Nebraska. He's lived there since 1990. He's got a permanent resident visa. He's had that for more than 20 years. So that's a win. That's a good thing there. Before we get to our guests, let me get Tom in here on line 3 from Hemp Hill, Texas. Hey, Tom, talk to me about this trigger you like.
Hey, Tom, how you doing? This is Tom in Texas.
Yes,
it's a dual trigger. I have a Remington 705R, and I was down in San Marcos, and so I stopped by the manufacturing outfit that makes these things, and so they set me up a trigger, and At first, I told them to set it at 8 ounces because I shoot off a bench. I'm not a walk around hunter.
Okay.
And it was awfully light. It was about as light as my Anschutz 2013.
Yeah.
So I said, crank it up. So we put it at 1 pound, and that thing breaks like glass. It is a fine trigger on a fine rifle, by the way. Yeah,
it is. Well, Arnold Jewell makes great triggers. They're one of about 3 companies that make really good triggers. And, we had the folks from Timney on here talking about it and trying to explain to people. Don't you find that if you're trying to explain to somebody how good a good trigger is, the only way to do it is to hand it to them and let them try it?
Yeah, absolutely. Because this thing, the original trigger on this thing, trigger group, was good. But when I went to this Jewell trigger, it just made all the difference in the world.
All right, Tom, listen, I appreciate that report. Tom makes a good point, by the way. People say, well, but my trigger's good. Yeah, it may be. It may be good. It may not be as good as you think it is, because if you don't know the difference. But the only way to know how much better it can be is to try one and go, oh, that's what you guys were talking about. Well, somebody who knows a lot about pulling triggers, because she has been a firearms instructor, competitive shooter. She has represented the U.S. Around the world doing shoots internationally, and also recognized as the firearms instructor, shooting instructor of the year. Michele, let me get this right, Michele Makucevich. How'd I do?
You did it right. That's pretty good.
Okay, good deal. Michele Makucevich is with us now. You have been teaching shooting and shooting competitively yourself for a long time. How'd you get started?
Well, I started 29 years ago. I could go back to the actual date. You have those important dates in your life. So January 16th, 1985 was the first day I ever pulled the trigger, and never really stopped since then. I was in college, and I'd like to say I was just being responsible, but were saying, hey, you want to go to the range? And I looked at my homework, and I looked at them, and I looked at my homework, and I went to the range.
Oh, I like it. Playing hooky by going shooting. That's a good move. I like that one. Now, so was there a logical step from, wow, I'm going to go to the range and shoot, to I'm going to become a serious competitor? Because you certainly did.
I was fortunate that I began with a program in which there were people that were already on the U.S. national team, and so I had a fabulous coach. And when you're surrounded by people that are striving for perfection, and you don't really, it's like kids defy gravity because they don't know that it exists. I just saw that the light was cascading beautifully through the center of all their targets and figured that was normal, and that's what I should be doing.
That's a very interesting observation. If the people around you, and I always said that no matter what the sport is, and it doesn't matter if it's golf or basketball or baseball or shooting, you want to go do it with people who are better than you, don't you?
I still do it with people that are better than me. I'm happy to say I'm number 4 on a lot of really good teams.
Well, but like you say, you're watching and say, okay, that's my goal. I want to be better. I want to be like those people. I want to be a competitor. But now you're not just a competitor, and I do want to touch on this for just a second. You have been a firearms instructor for many years. Where are we with the state of young people getting into shooting, in your view, their interest, their aptitude for it, whatever, just as you kind of look at the whole scene?
Well, there are NRA instructors and there are NRA coaches, and I don't want to misrepresent myself. I have never been an instructor. I've been a coach. So the difference being that a coach forms a relationship that's long-term with individuals. So I don't just I don't do a car wash thing of 50 people go through. I teach them how not to hurt themselves and turn them free in society. I work with some kids that I'll work with from the time they're 9 until they go off on an NCAA scholarship. So many of them I go back and I get to watch them have their babies. I get to watch them go and shoot in the NCAA. Some of them make the U.S. team. But I work with young people, and I would say that, kids are fascinated with shooting, and it's a great discipline. And, I think we sell our kids short today. People think that they just have the attention span of a gnat because they play with video games. But if you give them environment, they will be demanding of themselves in a way that they aren't in other sports. And I think that what you can learn from the shooting sports far exceeds what you can learn from most others.
Oh, boy, I couldn't agree more. Michele, hold on a second. I'm going to take a quick break. Come back. We're going to talk about some tips on cleaning guns because, as I told people, believe it or not, every once in a while you really should do a gun cleaning. So Michelle's going to help us out with that. Our number is 866-TALK-GUNS. Be right back.
You're headed somewhere your gun can't go. Leave it in the truck? Unsecured? Nope. Get a vehicle vault. Fits most trucks and SUVs. Installs in 10 minutes. Plate steel. Fast access. Visit CONSOLE-vault.com.
Want your next gun purchase to be fast and hassle-free? Well, at galleryofguns.com, you can search through thousands of models from our huge firearms inventory. Find a great offer from a local dealer that includes all fees and taxes. And there's no need to arrange a transfer. Gallery of Guns takes a small deposit on your credit card, and your gun will be at your chosen dealer in as little as 48 hours. Plus, your gun will be covered by our guaranteed lifetime replacement warranty. GalleryofGuns.com. Search, find, buy. It really is just that easy.
The Smith & Wesson Bodyguards. Carry more comfortably, walk more confidently. When it comes to personal protection, nothing beats a Bodyguard. Choose the lightweight, compact, and concealable Bodyguard 380 pistol or the Bodyguard 38 revolver, both with a built-in laser sight. The Smith & Wesson Bodyguards. Carry more comfortably, walk more confidently.
The .45 Auto, also known as the 1911, is the standard other defensive pistols are measured against. No matter what pistol you carry, techniques developed around the 1911 are vital. You know you need training. And you know your concealed carry class definitely was not training. Now Gun Talk presents an exciting DVD, Fighting with the 1911 with Tiger McKee. Tiger's unique training style will have you drawing, moving, shooting, and running your gun better no matter what style pistol you prefer. At ShopGunTalk.com, you can order our DVDs of Tiger's instruction. ShopGunTalk.com also has a 2-DVD set, including Concealed Carry 1. Get both for the information you know you need. This really is life and death. ShopGunTalk.com has DVDs, books, and other essential gear. ShopGunTalk.com. That's ShopGunTalk.com.
Hi, I'm Michael Bain. You know I hate cleaning guns, so anything that makes that job faster and easier is definitely a plus. And that's where Boretips come in. These reusable, lint-free cleaning swabs make cleaning a breeze. And the tighter-fitting Boretips do a better job on barrels than cotton mops or patches. Hey, it's a dirty job. Let Boretips help. To find a dealer, visit Boretips.com.
When your front door gets kicked in, the gun in the bedroom may be too far away. A wall safe from Console Vault keeps your gun secure and out of sight, but ready. Visit CONSOLE-vault.com.
I'm a gun owner.
Your views, advice, and questions are the driving force of Gun Talk.
You know, I don't think that guns are scary things.
Visit us online at www.guntalk.com. Call Tom now at 866-TALK-GUN, 866-825-5486. Let us know what you think about the gun-related issues of the day. Now, back to Gun Talk.
Yes, it's an ugly truth. You do, in fact, need to clean your firearm at least every once in a while. Well, frankly, if you do, it's going to shoot better. It will perform better. Michele Makucevich is with us right now talking about, I always thought that there's just nothing particularly new under the sun for gun cleaning other than everybody brings out different kinds of solvents, and it's just another solvent, Michele. But this Boretips thing is something completely different. What is this? How does it work?
Well, the Boretips are really... I think there are two types of cleaning your gun. There's the people that clean it because they must to care for their investment, and the Boretips appeal to them because it makes the job a lot faster and easier, more efficient. And then there are the types that are meticulous that say, by golly, I want my gun to look like it just came out of the factory, and I think those people are equally happy with our product. The Boretips are designed to pretty much take the place of the patch and the jag. You're not going to ever get rid of the brush. You wouldn't want to, but you can certainly save a lot of time because it's a combination. It's almost like a hybrid. By using the foam swab that is encasing its own internal plastic jag, constantly having to thread on your patches, and we don't leave any lint behind like you traditionally would, no little fibrous pieces.
Yeah, I've done that, where you got to tearing up the patch as it goes through the barrel.
I tell you, I work with kids all the time with coaching them, and it's kind of funny when you get some 12-year-olds arguing over who gets to clean the next gun, and it's been really miraculous for my hand, because the heel of my hand used to have a constant bruise on the back of it, because they would always say, "Oh, Michele, it's stuck again," and I'd be whacking and whacking trying to get it unstuck, and because it's already sized for the different calibers, our Boretips just slide right through, but it's a nice tight fit, so you're getting 360 degrees of coverage, so whether you're using a lubricant afterwards or you're using a solvent to clean, you're actually getting 100% coverage, which you would never get with a patch.
So what is it? It's a foam tip on a rod?
It's a foam tip that you would screw onto a standard 8/32 cleaning rod in the case of our rifle and pistol sizes. Okay. We make them currently in 6 different calibers, and we have 3 different shotgun sizes. So we can also do 4, 10, 12, and 20 gauge. And, of course, those were on the shotgun rods. But they're washable, reusable, which is kind of a neat plus.
That's nice.
You're not leaving behind the lint, and you're getting that full coverage. And just another bonus, I think most of your listeners would probably appreciate that everything is made in the U.S. So we're pretty gung ho on that with our company, and it's a family-owned company.
Now, with being foam tips, can you put solvent on the actual foam itself? Is that how you apply it?
Absolutely. I mean, just imagine everything that you would normally do when you're cleaning your firearm with a patch. It's just instead of applying your solvent or a lubrication to a patch, you're applying it onto the foam tip. When I'm cleaning my target rifles, I shoot 22 and 308. When I'm using those, I use a bore guide. I'm a big believer in that. I think that because our product is so good and so absorbent, it makes it even better if you use it with a bore guide, because then you're going to keep from getting any of that solvent where you don't want it to be. But most of the solvents that are out there that you can possibly think of using, it's going to work very well with our products. The only thing to stay away from is because it does have that internal plastic piece. Anything that attacks plastic is not going to be good for our product. So no gun scrubber in the aerosol, no G96, but most of the things that you would use, Hoppies, Vortec, Outers, Pro Shot, Frog Lube, Remington oil, Break Free, any of those, Butch's Bore Shine, all of that works great.
Okay. And you can use the cleaning rod that you already have.
Right, and it just threads right on, and then when you're done with it, there are various ways you could clean it. You could take the time and use maybe Dawn just soap or something like that, and then just wash it off, squeegee it between your fingers, let it dry. I'm a little lazier than that, so if you can get a hold of some mineral spirits and you just dip it in some mineral spirits, squeegee it off, let it dry over a couple hours, not only is it clean, it's pretty much gotten the white coloring back for the most part, and it's good to go again and again. And I get several usages out of it, even when I'm using sweets on my 308.
I am thinking of the bags and bags of patches that I have gone through, and I mean, and sometimes we used to do it. You would run this thing, you end up with a pile of dirty, nasty patches on the ground in front of you when you're cleaning your barrel, just because it takes all of that to really get it clean. That's amazing. So where do people find out about it? How can they order this stuff?
Well, even though we've only been selling these products since 2012 SHOT Show, we are now available in close to 300 independent gun stores. If you go onto our website at www.boretips.com, you could look up and see where the closest one to you is. But we're also in some of the bigger places, too, Brownells, Cabela's, Midway. There are a lot of the bigger names that you would maybe do something online with that you can purchase it from. But we have a second product that I think is equally good or even better, depending on what you're trying to
Michele,
clean. And that's
hold on a second, Michele. Hold on just a second, Michele. I've got to run to a break because it's going to hit us here. We'll be right back. We'll talk about that follow-up product. So we're talking about how to clean your guns, boretips.com. When we come back, we're going to find out what else they've been up to, because obviously they're doing some innovative stuff out there. And yes, making it easier is going to make sure that you do, in fact, really clean your gun.
You don't have to agree with Tom to participate in the show. Call now with any of your concerns about guns, gun rights, or particular firearms, or suggestions for your shooting activity or personal protection. 1-866-825-5486. Gun Talk is coming right back. Your views, advice, and questions are the driving force of Gun Talk. Visit us online at www.guntalk.com. Call Tom now at 866-TALK-GUN, 866-825-5486. Let us know what you think about the gun-related issues of the day. Now, back to Gun Talk.
All right, we were talking to Michele Makucevich, and just as we went to the break, Michele, you said you got something else in the hopper we ought to know about. What's that?
Well, they're called gun tips, and just as the Boretips replaced the jag and the patch with the lint-free way of cleaning your firearm, the gun tips replace the cotton swab. So I don't know how many of you are frustrated when you do a great job of cleaning and then you have to sit there and try and fish out all those little cotton fibers. This is a way of getting away from that, and they come in different sizes. We have 3-inch, 6-inch, large surface, little mini tips. Basically, it'll get all those other parts of your firearm, trigger assemblies, frames, grips, pins, levers, slides, all of that.
All the little grooves, like when you take the slide off of your semi-auto pistol and you've got grooves in the rails and all that where you're trying to get stuff out of there, you basically use this to scrub those out.
Exactly. And again, you could wash it and reuse it, so you're going to get plenty of usages out of it. It's not going to snap off like your cotton swabs.
Okay. I like it. And those are called gun tips. Again, if you go to boretips.com, you can see pictures of all this stuff, and then you can buy them at your favorite place in Brownells, Midway, just on and on and on. All these places are carrying it now. And you've got a list of all that on your website. Michele, thank you so much. But more importantly, let me thank you for what you have done for many years in being a coach and a mentor to young shooters.
Oh, you betcha. The best Americans in the world are the ones that are shooting. So we just raise a few more of them.
There you go. Thanks so much, Michele. Really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
All right, let's go talk to Frank on line 2. He says he's in Duck Paradise, Arkansas. That wouldn't be like anywhere near Max Prairie Wings, would it?
No, I'm
Frank?
up in the northern part of the state, right at the in the foothills of the Ozarks, but down on the flats, got rice and wheat fields down there and that.
Okay. Well, anywhere you got rice.
Spring River Valley area and that.
Okay.
Hunting and all at the same time.
All right. So what's this you want to know about on the 30-06?
I was checking on, an alternative round that would match up for the gun, and I was reading where there was, I think it was a 7.62 by 58 or 59 that I was reading that would could be used in that.
Well, what's going on? Why are you trying to find something besides a 30-06 to shoot in your 30-06?
Well, I was just, wondering, since the way the ammo situation is and anything like that, if there was a, like a NATO round or whatever, and that I could pick up, if it was available instead of being able to pick up.
The 30-06 really has not been used by NATO. The 308 has been. Surplus 30-06 ammo would be really, really old now. I mean, we're talking, transition period was essentially Korea to Vietnam in that ballpark. So anything at surplus is going to be seriously old, although they may be loaded in other countries. I guess the bottom line is I don't know if there's maybe a European equivalent. I haven't looked that up, and I don't know that off the top of my head. But there still is a lot of 30-06 ammo out there you can find and do a little bit of shopping around. You may not find what you're looking for locally, but on the Internet you absolutely can find it, and it's out there. By the way, it's funny you mentioned 30-06. I was thinking about that the other day, thinking, just as a go-to rifle for hunting and doing everything, the 06 is still about as good as it gets. It'll do everything. It'll shoot long. It'll hit hard. You load it with different bullets. It just simply works. Isn't it amazing? 1906, we got the 30-06, still good. When we come back, let's talk about machine guns and silencers here on Gun Talk.
No black helicopters here, just the facts about gun rights and gun ownership. This is Gun Talk.